Okay, so I've got this mug that I threw, and it's now leather hard. The slip on it is nice and firm. The first thing I need to do is clean up the bottom. So I threw this pot finished, and I just love when you do that, how little work there is to prepare it. So I've just got a metal rib. I'm rubbing it across any kind of imperfection on the floor so that I have a beautiful floor of my pot. And then I'm just going to take a little thin sponge that's been wrung out and clean up that edge so that I have a really nice wax line and no sharp edges from the slip application. I can take the same moment and do that at the rim. So now when I put a handle on a clay body that I've applied thick slip, I always take the slip off where I'm going to attach it because I have discovered that it tries to pull away. So I'm just going to choose where my handle's going to go. And that's usually an area that I think is less interesting, which actually I think I like everything on this cup, but I will put it right here. Okay, so the first thing I do is take this slip off. And I just use a metal rib, and it's really easy when you've got different contrasting clays. But even if you have the same clay, it's interesting that the slip will always be a little different in shade than the clay body. So I'm getting down to the clay. See it showing up there? I want to attach my handle to the red stoneware, which actually is Miller 900, a Laguna clay. So I don't need a huge area. I just need some of it to really be bonded on well. So I've done that. I'm going to score it really good. I just feel like if you'll do nice deep lines when you score a pot, your handle really is happy to attach on. Now I'm going to come down and estimate where I'm going to attach at the bottom. And I think it's going to be right about here. And I'm going to take a little bit of the slip off there as well, just to ensure a good attachment. I can always touch it back up with slip, but in the case of this cup, I'm going to let the handle be a contrast against the beautiful B-Mix wood slip. All right, so there it is. I've got a little bit of iron spread around on there. It isn't going to matter. You know, some people's work, that would really be a big deal, but not mine. Now, once I've scored it, I'm going to put just a smidge of water on there to start to wake up that clay. So now I'm going to set this down and I'm going to pull a handle because I'm going to pull this handle off the mug. So I'm stretching this clay and squeezing it just a little bit. My hand was dipped in water. I've still only put my hand in that water one time. You always want to use your best clay for handles. You want it to stretch well. Make sure you've compressed it and that you've wedged it up so you're not going to have any imperfections in your handle. So what I do when I pull a handle is I look for a taper wider here to narrower here and wider up here to narrower down there. But I'm not going to finish this handle. I'm going to finish it on the cup. So now I like the looks of the taper on that. I like the amount of clay that I have to work with the handle. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it off and attach it to this cup. Okay. So as you remember, I already scored this. I'm going to loosen it up again. And now I know that this clay is really nice and soft to receive the handle, but not too soft. This mug is not moving at all. So I'm gonna take this handle and I'm gonna offer it up where I've scored it, right there. And when I do, from way back, like 1.5 inches back, I'm gonna slowly compress this handle into the mug, and you'll notice it got wider when I did. And then I'm gonna come on the top side and press into the mug. And I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. Notice how far back I am as I gently come in and increase my pressure as I get to the cup. See the 3 valleys? Now is the time where I actually shape this to be a perfect fit for this mug. So I've got picked up water again. If you're picking up water all the time, I can't help but say you're making a mistake, because you want your handle to not be floppy wet. So I'm working on a taper that it's wider here to narrower there. It's wider here to narrower there. And it looks like I'm getting it. So when I think I'm close, I take my cup and I turn it over and I just gently tack the clay to where I scored at the bottom. And you can see it's a nice sized handle for this cup. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off right here at the base. Clean up here just a little bit because you don't want any sharp edges. I'm gonna clean up just a little bit with my sponge. And the last thing to do is the attachment. I'm gonna push out this way and I'm gonna push out this way. And you might be thinking, wait a minute, you didn't take the slip off down there. I've found when a little bit of clay goes over it, it's not a problem. It's when it's a thick amount that it tries to pull away. So now I'm just gonna clean that up a little. And right here, I'm gonna bring this line a little higher into the handle. It's a minute adjustment, but I like it. So now the negative space, I think I've just nailed it, but you can change it with a little water and stretch it out. But I think I nailed it right in the first go. So make sure you don't have raised edges that's gonna make the hold uncomfortable. Make sure you aren't so close to the cup that when it shrinks, you're gonna be touching the cup, because that is very unpleasant with hot teas specifically. So there you have it. That is a wheel thrown mug, thrown finished with a faux foot, slip applied, very thick slip, and then I attached a pulled handle. I hope you enjoyed this video.